Giving honor to God our Father, Christ our Redeemer, humankind our family, I will lift mine eyes unto the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Hello, and welcome again to TYREETALK and my short series on social justice, front and center of the gospel. As previously mentioned, there are 9 emerging and present social justice issues. I previously covered the first 8 issues: voting, climate justice, health care justice, refugee crisis, racial injustice, income gap, gun violence, hunger and food insecurity. Now, the 9th emergent and present social justice issue is lack of equality. Equality is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. Equality underlines nearly all of the 8 social justice issues I previously presented. The social justice issue of equality has become sadly more relevant as the COVID-19 pandemic impacts marginalized communities at higher rates, both economically and medically. Marginalized communities are those excluded from mainstream social, economic, educational, and or cultural life. These communities include, but are not limited to, groups excluded due to race, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical disability, language, and or immigration status. Jesus came to earth to reach and restore broken people. During his brief time on earth, Jesus was good at drawing marginalized people to himself, those who were consistently and deliberately pushed aside by society. He listened, he took action, and he met needs. Contrary to human nature, Jesus sought out those who were looked down upon, the least of these. 5 times, Jesus prioritized the marginalized. First, Jesus welcomed children. Even when Jesus' disciples saw children as a nuisance to be avoided, Jesus saw them as a treasure to be welcomed, to be received, to be loved, and to be cherished. And 2, Jesus valued women. In first century Palestine, it was unusual for men outside the family to address a woman in any way. But Jesus did things differently. He sat with a woman at the well. He interacted with Mary when she poured perfume on his feet. And when he healed the woman with the bleeding disorder, he called her a daughter, a term of unmistakable endearment. And 3rd, Jesus touched lepers. Lepers were among the most stigmatized people in Jesus' day because their disease came with such horrific consequences, including total exclusion from society and family life, and lepers were ostracized. But in Mark 1, a leper approaches Jesus and asks for healing, and Jesus does something profound. He stretches out his hand and touches him and said, "Be clean." And immediately the leprosy left him, and he was made clean. And 4th, Jesus accepted Samaritans. The Jews and Samaritans have had a long history of mutual disdain, and this is significant because in Luke 10, a lawyer asked Jesus what he needs to do in order to fulfill the law. And Jesus famously answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And when the lawyer asked, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus answers with the story of the Good Samaritan who had compassion for the Jewish man left to die at the side of the road. And this parable is more than just a story about being kind. This is a story with significant implications for how we should treat all people. Jesus ends his parable by saying, "You go and do likewise." And 5, Jesus died for sinners. We should never lose sight of the fact that we should be alienated from the love of Christ, yet God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. We'll love people better when we better understand how we've been loved. Loving marginalized people is not an optional upgrade for the church. It's the way we look like Christ. As followers of Jesus, we should endeavor to do the same. Thank you for joining me on TYREETALK as I close this 9-week series on social justice, front and center of the gospel. Till next time, have a great day.